set their own, each town can set their own,
Welcome to Ring Central Conferencing.
Sweet as pie.
Please enter your access code followed by the
please.
pound. This
That means the townspeople have nothing to say,
access code accepted.
and I have a
There
lot to
are
say.
2
Mr.
other
Mayor.
participants in this conference. Please announce yourself.
Municipal clerk. Municipal clerk. Who's on the line, please?
Smith, it's Chief Murphy.
Thank you. Mr. Madigan, Mr. Shanley?
Jeez, I was gonna phone him, glad I didn't.
Mr. Madigan? Mr. Shanley?
Can somebody message them?
I'll send Tim a text.
Just send a, in the.
I'll send it in the group, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you got it, yeah.
Great.
Somebody.
Tim said he's dialing in. Mr. Shanley or Mr. Madigan?
No, no one?
Mr. Shanley or Mr. Madigan?
Tom's having issues getting in. I gave him the number again. He's calling it.
It sounds like someone came on, but they're not identifying themselves.
All right, let's hope.
Tom Madigan calling in, second time.
Thank you, Mr. Madigan.
I was on hold since 8:26. Nobody ever came to pick up.
All right.
But okay, we got it now.
And I just got a message from
Thank
Tim.
you.
He's not making it.
What's that?
I just got a message from Tim. He's not making it. He's tied up at work.
So be it. Okay, Nancy, you ready?
I can't hear you guys.
We didn't start yet.
Matt, what did you say? For the
Tim
record?
is not making it.
Tim's not making it.
He will not be attending. Okay. Okay.
Nancy, you ready?
So we're good then.
Good, good, all right. Let me get this in front of me. I'd like to call this special meeting to order. Nancy, roll call, please.
Mr. Boonstra?
Here?
Mr. Lane?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Shanley? And Mayor Melchione.
Here.
Thank you.
Can you please read the special meeting statement?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This special meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk and posted on the municipal website, and a copy has been emailed to the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers having general circulation throughout the Township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Thank you. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. All right, before we open to the public, I just want to give a brief rundown why we're sitting here today. First, our budget was adopted on April 16th, which included Ordinance 2012 in it. We were waiting for a check from PSE&G for our road resurfacing, so we could not adopt the bond ordinance. At our May 7th regular scheduled meeting, we anticipated that check to come from PSE&G. However, we still did receive that check because they sent it regular mail from Texas. At that meeting, it was agreed upon by all 5 township committee members to hold a special meeting on May 10th where you could either attend in person or by phone. So we were hoping to receive that check from PSE&G, so then we could go out for our road repaving and pass bond ordinance 2012. However, that check was not received. We did receive the check this past Saturday in our regular mail, and at that May 10th meeting, we did have this meeting scheduled, so we did receive the check. We would be able to vote on the bond ordinance, and the sooner we vote on the bond ordinance, the sooner we could get started on our paving. So that's just a quick, brief rundown of why we're here at this meeting right now. Now could I have a motion to open to the public comment period, 10 minutes?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
And Mayor Melchiong.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay. Please step forward to the microphone if you wish to make a, oh, I'm sorry. You have a 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Wykoff. Please step forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to make sure, Mr. Madigan, can you hear me?
Please,
I'm sorry?
I don't know who's speaking.
Sorry, please.
My name is Bill Brock. I live at 257 Godwin Avenue, and I just want to make sure that you can hear me. Tom, is that correct?
Mr. Madigan, can you hear?
I can hear fine.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
I am a lifelong resident of Wykoff, a business owner here in Wykoff, a 50-year member of the Wykoff Fire Department, and I would like to read a poem that was written by another 50-year member of the Wykoff Fire Department who has recently passed away, and I am doing this with the permission of his wife. Words. Words, what do they mean? A dynamic force yet unseen. 'Tis true that they blind the sight and make us forget wrong from right. 'Tis also true that they pierce the heart to bring people together or drive them apart. Words can be written or they can be said. That is, they can be heard or they can be read. Once said, they cannot be erased, for they travel with a speed that can't be chased. A written word can be changed again and again, but the spoken word goes beyond the pen. Yet words are written at a certain cost, for in writing some of the feeling is lost. Of course, writing can convey thought, but sometimes more than that is sought. Like the feelings and expressions that are on the mind, but to this, the written word is blind. Yet, at times it is much better to write and be able to correct while the word is in sight. But if also the emotion you must convey, then it is best to speak what you want to say. But whenever you speak, take a real slow pace. And just remember, you cannot erase. I was not present at last Friday's meeting, but was able to view it on YouTube Friday afternoon, as anyone who may be interested can do. I was disturbed by the way the Township Committee, who were present at the aforesaid meeting, treated and spoke to a Wyckoff senior citizen. I was also appalled at the bullying and bashing that was spoken to a seated Township committeeman. You may all have differences of opinion, but to speak to someone in that manner who was not physically present was despicable and premeditated. I am embarrassed by your actions, and you should likewise be embarrassed by your spoken words. You represent our community when you sit on that dais, and I am certain that any Wyckoff resident that watches the YouTube video anytime in the future will agree with me. There is no room for swearing or treating each other with anything but respect and dignity, no matter what your personal feelings are. Each of you need to make a verbal apology to both of these men in a public meeting. We voted for each of you to sit in those seats, and we, the public, demand the respect the position warrants. You acted unprofessional, and if you were my employees, you would no longer be employed. Words, actions, and gestures cannot be taken back, especially when they are live streamed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Beth Sprozik, and I have been living in Wyckoff for approximately 27 years. My husband grew up here, loved his hometown, and moved his family here. He has gone to Sycamac, Eisenhower, and Ramapo, and our two daughters have done the same. My husband is on the Board of Health for approximately the last 10 years and has been on the Ambulance Corps for approximately 25 years. My daughters, as soon as they have turned of age, they too became volunteers for the Ambulance Corps to ride with their dad on Friday nights. My eldest has since moved out of Wyckoff, and my youngest still rides with her dad. My family clearly has roots in this town. I watch the Township Committee meetings online when I can. I have seen the last meeting, and I have to say it was very disturbing for a few reasons. The first is how an elderly man, who I do not know, walked up to the mic and said that he could not hear, only to be received by a yelling response from one of the committee members. It was disrespectful and frankly appalling. You can see on the video the mayor having to quiet down the committee member who yelled at the man because of his behavior was unacceptable. Then another member decided to take it upon himself to say how disappointed he was in another member of the committee in public. This was clearly a response to an email that was sent regarding the campaign and was also very disturbing to me. I realize that everyone is campaigning to keep their positions. However, the campaigning should not be taking place during meetings. Each and every one of you have been using words transparency and fairness, so much so that these words have lost their meaning. If you were all transparent, you would outwardly say that you cannot work with each other instead of lying and saying that you are. You all have made it public knowledge you do not like each other with childish behavior, such as photoshopping people out of pictures, chastising each other in public. This has been working both ways, and unfortunately this committee is clearly divided. This is where I have a problem. Why can't you all sit in a room behind closed doors and find a way to work it out as adults do? I would think none of you would have a family fight with your windows open and doors open for the whole neighborhood to hear you screaming at each other, so this should be no different. The way you behave during each election period is guaranteed for us residents to watch the mudslinging. The bullying and harassment is out of control. Open your eyes and see what you're doing to the community. You're having neighbors fighting with neighbors because of your mudslinging. Is this what you really have in mind for the best of Wyckoff? The children of our town are watching. Clearly, you should brush up on the HIB law that the schools are governed by, because most of you would be suspended by school terms for harassment and bullying. This is not the way an adult governing body of our town should be behaving and setting such examples for the children of this town. Let me remind you, you are here to work together and do what's best for Wyckoff, for the residents of Wyckoff, for the family of Wyckoff, for the children who are our future. If you feel that you cannot do this any longer, do what is best for Wyckoff and walk away from your position instead of pounding your chest and trying to show that you are the most powerful ape in the jungle. Also, I would like to remind you all that you are putting your meetings on the internet. Your behavior is posted on the web. Why am I bringing this up? Because you say you're doing the best for Wyckoff, and I do not see how this is possible. If any person is looking to move to our town and does a little research, all they have to do is look on YouTube and watch the interaction between the committee and the townspeople. And if they were smart with the behavior being displayed, they would run the other way. I do not understand how you sit up there and say that you're doing the best for Wyckoff. The mentality of how you are campaigning might have been acceptable 20 years ago. But since then, the Me Too movement, the words politically correct, and the HIB laws all have changed how things are done. You need to change with the times.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm Jerry Getting, 629 Lawlands Road, Wyckoff. I'd like to say I go online and I tried to find this meeting today, but I was lucky to find out it was happening. But I didn't see it online because I'm not that expert on the computer. Therefore, I think if you're going to have a special meeting hereafter, you should do a robocall to alert everyone in town that there's going to be, even though legally you put it in the theoretically paper, etc. Now, I've done my homework because I always do my homework. And I'll tell you something. Buying a sewer cleaning machine for $640,000 is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Gentlemen, knowledgeable men, to go spend that kind of money. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're getting along for some time quite well. Now, the Northwest Bergen people, they've been giving you a machine to use. I spoke to them and they said, there's plenty of time for the machine to be available. It's never been refused. That's what the man said on the phone to me. So why would you go spend $640,000 for a machine you're going to use maybe 3 months? You have to have a person trained to do it. The $640,000 is going to cost $35,000 a year in interest. Think of that. Or $30,000 in interest. So you could go hire an outside outfit to do it. Whether it's $4,000 a day or not, as long as you get a commitment from them. Now, we're also buying 6 lifts. Why are you buying? What's wrong with the lifts they got now? They may not be battery operated, but they exist. You can't keep building up your debt. And also, they got the other thing, what is it? Garbage truck. Come on, a garbage truck. We don't have garbage. And if you need one, rent one. This is ridiculous. And my last thing is, why is this a special meeting? You could have done this next week with a regular time. So, in my opinion, when you do a special meeting like this for a certain result, you're playing games. And you're not supposed to be up there playing games. You're supposed to be up there leading the people of the town knowledgeably. And hereafter, when somebody asks you a question, I'd really like to see that you are knowledgeable enough to answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry, I was going to give you 4 minutes. You went short. I said I was going to give you 4 minutes, but you went short.
I know you.
Good morning, Stanley Goodman, 691 Birchwood Drive. Like Mr. Gettings, I also looked for the meeting. I heard there was a meeting today. I have the calendar right here on the Wyckoff's website. It's not up. Oh. Yeah, I'm waiting for my growth spurt. Why can't this be put on the calendar? I heard there was a meeting today. I searched the website. I searched, and finally, with using the right term, I finally found it. I don't even know how I found it, but I'd like to know why it can't be put up on the calendar. And the same with Friday's meeting.
Well, Nancy schedules.
The meetings on the calendar are the annual scheduled meetings. But on the homepage, it told you right there, right in the middle of the homepage, special meeting today.
And this is how it's been customarily done for years.
Well, I've got to say, I did look, search, and have not seen it. And so I'm up on the homepage. I went to the website, and it says court 3 to 6 p.m. Library Board of Trustees.
No, you're on the calendar still, sir.
Well, I'm on the homepage. I'm on wyckoffnj.gov. I don't see anything that says that. So.
You have to drop that. So if you're looking at it from your phone, there's a drop down right under the calendar that says news.
I see calendar, upcoming events, news. Okay.
And in yellow.
So I got to go to. Okay. Well, frankly, it could be put
on the web on the computer. It's right there. I'm not sure why it doesn't automatically drop down.
Well,
on the
so then
phone,
I'm
but-
requesting. I can't imagine that you couldn't put it on the calendar. I understand regular events, but this is important enough. I assume if you're coming here to hold a meeting, or you could make this notice visible instead of something I have to play with to find on my phone, at least. I mean, I think more often than not, people use their phones rather than their computers. How often are people sitting at a desk all day these days? Anyway, that's my input. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and suggestions.
Any other members of the public?
Just,
Oh, sorry.
if you see no one, make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public session.
I'll second it.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
And Mayor Melchiong.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, before we move on to ordinance 2012, this is a time for any comments from Township Committee on only ordinance 2012.
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, as you know, I was part of the budget process, and we've been waiting for this approval on getting the money in from PSC&G so we can save our taxpayers a lot of money and do this project. I just feel it's unfortunate that Tim Shanley and his political team are misleading our residents. There's been significant investment in our community's infrastructure, including road resurfacing, the acquisition of a new engine for Company 2, and a ladder truck on order for the Wyckoff Volunteer Fire Department, which is expected to be delivered in 2026. This ordinance not only addresses the urgent need for road resurfacing, but also found several other critical projects. We talked about the acquisition of a sewer vac and jetter truck to maintain our stormwater sewer management system. This will ensure better stormwater management. It also includes funds for replacing the leaking roof on Memorial Town Hall. And as mentioned over the check, our strategic partnership with PSE&G is a prime example of effective shared services benefiting our Wyckoff community by reducing direct taxpayer burden. Mr. Shanley voted for the budget. I don't think people are fooled by his campaign team antics that are purely political and totally disingenuous. And I'm also disappointed he didn't speak at our last meeting. He said he would speak at this meeting, but he can't even bother to call in today for discussion and comments. So I will be voting yes for this. And that's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
we're not, just to make it clear, we're not voting right now. This is just comments before we go to ordinance
Correct.
12.
Correct.
Rudy or Roger, anyone's got any comments?
I kind of, mine are kind of short. I stated them on Friday regarding the two pieces of equipment that add up to about $1 million. I think it's the best way to go. I know it's expensive. It's driven by our compliance with stormwater management regulations, which hasn't been enforced. Actually, I think Richard Nixon signed that federal stormwater management legislation into law, and it's been unenforced for all these years. And now suddenly it's being enforced through the states and on down to the municipalities. So there's a lot to do. A lot falls on us, and this is part of it. And we searched, 2 years ago when we were hit with the big garbage contract increase. We've been looking for a compactor because we can save a lot of money off the bid of the what we pay the garbage gator by doing some of it ourselves. So I think it's money well spent, and that was my comment Friday, and that's my comment.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the compactor is not necessary to bring garbage in-house. It's
other things they pick up.
bring vegetative waste and leaves and
grass clippings and things like that.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose vehicle.
Mr. Mayor, would you summarize what you're gonna vote on?
Yeah, we're gonna read the ordinance when it comes to it. We'll get to it, Jerry.
Is it the fire engine involved in this?
Not, this is a particular ordinance for 2012, and Nancy will read the ordinance, which has the equipment and what we're passing in this particular bond ordinance. You have it, yeah. Do you have comments?
Yeah, I do. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that's here. We have about 10 times more people than we do, excuse me, during a regular meeting, so it's encouraging to see, the concern. I really, Bill, I'd like to thank you for your comments. The poem was appropriate. Jerry, I'd like to thank you for your comments as well, okay? In the poem, you mentioned something about being driven apart, okay? So we were treated to a second piece of what I refer to, it's a political piece from Tim, regarding this particular ordinance. So all I want to do is talk specifically about facts, okay? There's $7.7 million in debt. This town, according to the state law, can bond up to $178 million. That's staggering, but that's what the law permits the town to go to. We're at 7.7. That is minuscule. It's 0.15%. And this is how towns operate, particularly when they have to buy capital items, DPW equipment, ladder trucks. There were 6 ordinances that were passed by this township committee, 6, that total the $7.7 million that's represented in the debt we have, okay? Tim Shanley, and I wish he was on the call, but I'm sure him and his friends will play this. Tim moved 3 of the ordinances, including a $2.6 million ladder truck. He moved the ordinance, and it was approved unanimously. One other ordinance he seconded, and the 2 that he did not either move or second, he voted for. So the bottom line here, folks, from a purely financial standpoint, is that Tim voted for every piece of this debt that now 2 weeks before an election, he decries. I think it's a sad state of affairs if that's the way we're gonna function. I think that it's not appropriate as far as using a scare tactic to scare people that their taxes are gonna go through the roof when that's not the case. When you use bond ordinances like this, it's to spread out equipment like the ladder truck. So quite frankly, if he says he's voting no for this, quite frankly, he's voting no for that ladder truck. And every fireman in this town should be aware of that. 6 ordinances, you can look them up, voted unanimously. Those are the facts. It's not emotional, it's not political, it's the facts. That's what it is. So that being said, the only last comment, in this wonderful piece here, it said something about the new guy or something like that. I'm only here 5 months, and that I had comments or whatever. I guess the insinuation was, because I'm only here 5 months, I don't have the knowledge. I have decades of knowledge in municipal budgets, county budgets, Bergen County Utilities Authority, where we budgeted hundreds of millions of dollars, and I'm well aware of it, and I do my homework. Now, Tim's been here for 6 years, and he should be fully aware that he voted for all of this. So basically, to put it in layman's terms, he voted for this, he wanted to spend the money, but now he doesn't want to pay the bill. Because all this ordinance does is pay the bill and finance through bonding to take care of the equipment. Those are the facts, plain and simple, and that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I just have one, it's not just a comment, actually. Actually, it's a request. Matt, can you please reach out to our auditor and see if you can invite him to our next regular scheduled meeting to give a brief presentation on our budget and his audit report?
Sure. The audit's just been completed. We met with him last week, so it has to be approved at the next meeting anyway. So I'll
Okay.
ask him if he can come on Tuesday.
All right, that'd be perfect. Thank you. I really don't have any other comments except I made some comments last meeting just about the budget and some of the budget process. But just want to make this point out too: is the Township of Wyckoff pays anywhere between $700,000 to $800,000 a year down towards the principal payment on their debt, and this year it's closer to the $800,000 mark, right? Yep. And that's my only comment. Nancy, can you please take us into the ordinance, please?
Yes. This is the time and the place for further consideration of ordinance number 2012 as the public hearing was completed at the May 7th, 2024 Township Committee meeting. On May 7th, 2024, at the 8 p.m. business meeting, the following ordinance was presented for second reading by title only, and a copy of this ordinance has been posted on our municipal website, on the bulletin board in Town Hall where public notices are customarily posted, and copies have been made available to members of the general public of the township who have requested the same. Ordinance number 2012 is a bond ordinance authorizing various improvements and acquisitions, including road resurfacing, town hall roof replacement, acquisition of a vehicle lift, acquisition of a single-axle packer truck, acquisition of a single-axle jetter vac truck, and acquisition of a records management system in, by, and for the Township of Wyckoff in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $2,937,100 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,452,776 worth of bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Wyckoff that ordinance number 2012, after public hearing and further consideration, is hereby adopted, and the municipal clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of final passage of said ordinance in the official newspaper for the township as provided by law.
Motion?
Go ahead, Rudy.
You go ahead, I'll
No,
second.
go ahead. You're a senior.
I'll move ordinance 20112 on second reading by title only.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
And Mayor Melchiong.
Yes.
With the affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Nancy. Can I have a motion to
Mayor,
adjourn?
before we adjourn, I'd like a point of personal privilege, if I may.
Yep.
Bess Brozick and I are good friends. I don't know how much we really agree on, but we're good friends, so that makes us, I have to say, I have to comment on some of the words you said, which I agree with very, very much, that this is, unfortunately, an intramural squabble with members in my own party, and I'm sorry to say that we're, through uses of email lists and meetings such as this, we're dragging people who provided their information and tune into a thing like this into the middle of it where they probably didn't want to be. I agreed. I tried for 2.5 months to try to get everyone in a room to straighten it out, and unfortunately, we had a meeting set on March 12th, and late in the evening on March 11th, one of the leaders on one side sent out an email and canceled the meeting, so it never happened, and now here we are. So before we adjourn here, we only have one more meeting left before Tuesday the 4th, and I'm just going to ask that everyone on both sides refrain from comments at meetings like this, because this is the government's business, and refrain from using town email distribution lists for political purposes, and let's just handle it in the old-fashioned way of running an election, and see what happens on June 4th. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, one last thing. Just, I want to thank you. I want to thank the committee for voting today. We've advertised to release the bid for road resurfacing for Friday. We're going to open it up on the primary election day, actually. Normally we wouldn't because Nancy is tied up, but Diana and Fran and I will take care of it, and we'll hopefully award at our regular meeting on the 6th. If we didn't adopt today, we wouldn't be able to go out to bid on Friday.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt.
All right.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Before you adjourn, if I may,
Well,
am I allowed to say something
No,
or not?
we ended public comment, but we could talk after. We only have public comment in the beginning of
I
the meeting.
understand that.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
allowed to stand up and say something.
fortunately not.
I'll move to adjourn.
Well, why don't you let him
Second.
say what he
Nancy?
wants?
Mr. Boonstra,
Yes?
Mr. Lane,
Aye.
Mr. Madigan,
Yes.
and Mayor Melchiong.
Yes.
With
Now
affirmative
you're
vote, the
being
motion is approved.
disrespectful to a resident of the town.